Yes, the second Kickstarter is now live for the ZX Spectrum Next, and it's an issue 2 as well, which we'll come to that later. Now, as you'll notice, I'm actually looking at the page for the first Kickstarter. I'll come to the second one in a bit, but I'm just going to cover a few things on this first before we get into the nitty-gritty about the second one. When it comes to Kickstarter 2, after learning of any issues from the first Kickstarter, they were going to pare things down a fair bit. And I assume there might just be one version and having all the bells and whistles, but it's been a bit of a different situation than that. Now, I'll come to what the amount raised so far is shortly, because it's shooting up like a Children in Need telethon. But it's safe to say that the Kickstarter was funded in around about 6 minutes. But I say, before we get to the second Kickstarter, and I'll try not to be too long because I've had to turn the fan off to go through all this, so I'm absolutely flipping roasting. As you can see, the pledge, which was mine, I hate it every time I go over there, it covers it up. £230, which is what I paid before for the ZX Spectrum Next accelerator, sorry, which has all the features of the Plus version, RTC, Wi-Fi plus the Raspberry Pi Zero accelerator plugged into the accelerator port. That one had almost 1,700 backers at the time, and the whole project had £723,000 raised out of a 250k goal and just over 3,000 backers. That's going to be trumped, pardon the expression, we know that. So the cheapest pledge in order to actually receive something, if you discount the £1 for just giving them money, which 134 people did, which is surprising, you get just the board, which it says from the hardware hacker in you, you just get the main board without, so you don't get the case, you don't get the accessories, and you can put it inside an original Spectrum, which is, well, again, we'll come to that in a bit. That had 130 people backing that. Next up was a regular ZX Spectrum Next. I say regular as it was a brand new machine at the time, so there's nothing regular about it. But £175 for 512 megabytes of RAM, which was upgraded to 1 megabyte anyway, 1 gigabyte rather. 1 megabyte, 1 gigabyte, yeah, twice that anyway. HDMI out, 7 megahertz, accelerator port, and the SD card. And the 7 megahertz ended up being 7, 14 megahertz, and 28 megahertz. I'm pretty sure that was the same with the original Next because it is the same that's happened with mine. I think these were little things which were tweaked along the way. So games that were quite taxing on the old Spectrum can now be sped up and played at a decent speed. Then we come to the ZX Spectrum Next Plus, which was £215. That's another £40. So you get the real-time clock and the Wi-Fi module added on top of that. Now there were options for like buying two at once, that kind of thing. No, I didn't do that. There was also one that was £5,000, which was there can be only one, which is ZX Spectrum Next numbered 0, fully expanded with everything internally signed by the entire team. So how do you unless you want to open that up? Yeah, I could open mine up to add RAM to it. I want to be damn sure I know what I'm doing before I start opening my machine up. Yeah, I can set fire to milk basically when I try and touch anything these days that's sort of electronics. It's all going to go wrong. It's best just to get somebody else to sort it out for me. So this was going to have an authenticity certificate coming with it. Try and say that after a few pints. Your name in the settings of the Next and as a member of the team who backed the project, and also join us for dinner with the backers of the ultimate tier. Now there was another option. Oh, there's also the early bird, which is £10 off the regular version. Oh, there's also yours truly, so you can have your name etched on it. I didn't really want my name etched on it. An extra 20 quid, maybe it would have been worth it. Then again, it was just a plus, so it didn't have the accelerator anyway, so it was an extra 35 actually for that. You also get joystick, games, and all the rest of it. £1,000 would get for 5 people. No one went for the £5,000 one, but 5 people did go for the full 5 people did go for the £1,000 one, where you get to have dinner with all the team. Correct me if I'm incorrect. I don't think that dinner's actually happened yet, because by the time the machines were going out, the whole worldwide situation we've got at the moment happened. The one I can't mention because of the way YouTube works. So that'll come later, I expect. But things have gone completely different for this new one. Things have been pared down, as I said. But let's get into that. So there we are. We're now on the page for the ZX Spectrum Next issue 2. And obviously has exceeded its goal. We knew it was going to exceed its goal. Even as I talk, it's going up. So the goal was again £250,000. And it's gonna within 30 days, that's gonna top 1 million easily. So the first one was it was over £700,000. This one, it hit the £500,000 mark after about 41 minutes, I understand. So that's quite something. But let's just look at the options that we have for this one, as well as an option for £5 to share the love. Here's where the first, the basic machine comes along. Well, it was, it was not a basic one; it's the plus one. So the equivalent of the one that was £215 last time is now £300. So again, it's got the 1 megabyte of RAM, the RGB, VGMA. You know what I mean? You can read. 714, 28 megahertz turbo modes. The accelerator port, so it doesn't have the accelerator thing in there. The SD card, all the other bits and pieces. Basically, it's got the Wi-Fi module and the real-time clock. Prices include all taxes. Now, we'll come to that in a bit. But, yeah, that's the one which was... Only that one had an early bird on it. And these come with an issue 2 board. There's a few... I'll put a link to the video that Enrique's posted online. But basically, the little things you can do with it, such as changing turbo modes from within a game, because normally you do that from the menu before you load up a game. To me, for the extra price for this, it's no great hardship just to do that. You can also save a snapshot of a game, so it's like saving a game mid-game, as it were. Saving, so getting up to a certain level and then saving it, so you don't have to replay a load of levels again. And also taking a screenshot of the game. Well, I mean, I record gameplay anyway, so if I need a screenshot from something, I can always take that later. And when it comes to the Next Plus, I say it's £300 there. The early bird offer was £280, so you save 20 quid with that. Now I would have gone for the early bird if there'd been one on the accelerated, and well, that's what I was intending to do, and depending on the price. As we go to the accelerated one, it's £325, so you get everything else, but also you get the accelerator, the Pi Zero, which does all the accelerating. So yeah, so it's £325. So I paid I paid £235 for that before, and it's now £325. So it's a shame. I mean, if there had been an early bird offer on that, I probably would have gone for that. So why they didn't do that, I don't know. But it is what it is, and it's all gone now. I mean, there were only 100 early bird ones anyway, and they went within seconds, I think. That's a real shame. So I was looking forward to that. Now, I would have loved to have bought a board-only version, which was just obviously the board on its own. But it wasn't available. And what I would have liked to have done is put it inside a ZX Spectrum 48K rubber keyed case, which is what ZX Renew were doing last time. Whether they're going to do it again this time or not, I don't know. That hadn't been confirmed. These are examples of a couple of their boards. I know one problem, one change between the original board last time and the final product was that for some reason, whatever reason, the joystick ports were moved from the back of the unit to the front. Quite why? I mean, okay. I mean, the back of the unit is quite busy. Maybe that's why they moved to the front. But that sort of changed things with the board, with the case design that they'd made. So they'd have to sort of remake the whole case machine from scratch. Whether they're planning to do that or not, I don't know. But would have been cool nonetheless. Now, if you're not sure what the accelerated version does, it features a Raspberry Pi Zero as a coprocessor at the service of the Spectrum Next own processor, enabling it to utilize a 3D GPU, 512 megabytes of RAM, and a powerful ARM processor. The Plus version can be upgraded by adding your own Raspberry Pi Zero with the correct header to the accelerator port. Literally the world's cheapest accelerator upgrade. Because I bought one with the Pi included, because as I say, I set fire to milk. Now, before I get to why the costs have increased, regardless of the Kickstarter, there's been a lot of talk from some people about wondering whether this might be sold in retail shops or on Amazon or something like that. Well, now when you buy something in the shops, obviously it's already been made and then you just go in to buy it. So any company making something would have to have already invested in it long before you end up paying for it. They also want to make a profit. The thing with this Kickstarter is that there's very little profit in it. So if you wanted to buy it as a retail item, that would basically double the price of the final unit, approximately. So you could be spending £600 instead of £300 or £325. So, yeah, and that's quite pricey, and especially given that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are likely to be around £450 or around $500, then you're paying more than you would for those items. And, of course, those items it's not a viable thing to sell those in the shops in this day and age. It's something that it would have worked when gaming systems were a little more modest. Now people want ray tracing, blah de blah, and basically they want a console that replicates £1,000 PC at the minimum, which is what the PlayStation and Xbox will do. So it's not happening basically. So what's in the cost? Well, the ZX Spectrum Next aims to be a project made nearly at cost, featuring a minimal margin with the goal of getting as many computers as possible into the hands of fans in order to boost community numbers. The issue 2's prices are higher than the original for a very few and reasonable reasons. Taxes. While we didn't charge taxes on the first campaign, following advice that crowdfunding was exempt, the taxman said we owed them. The team footed the bill themselves at a huge personal cost. This time round, we've added tax to the price, which is the lion's share of the price difference. So I'm expecting that if you buy it this time round, you're also having to pay for some of the tax that wasn't collected first time round. So it's kind of like you're paying double tax. Now, the second thing is components. Some of the parts employed on the Next have gone up in price in the past 3 years, in particular the FPGA and the RAM chips. And the third one was assembly and test. Less than 0.3% of the Next from the first campaign had to resort to warranty or repairs of some kind, an industry-beating quality standard. This high watermark was achieved due to the Next being built and tested in the UK at cutting-edge facilities. The testing procedures we deployed were more thorough than originally planned, and their costs are now reflected. So last time we got the Next at a discount, effectively. So will you be buying a Next this time round? Are you buying a second Next? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Either way, there's no more early birds, so you've got 30 days to pick up an Next if you missed out the first time, which takes us up until September the 10th, which is a Thursday at 8:59 p.m. or maybe 8:59 and 59 seconds. So yeah. In the meantime, please like this video and share it with your friends and subscribe if you haven't already. Click on the little bell for all the notifications. I'm going to finally switch the damn fan on because I'm absolutely flipping roasting now. And cue Genesis.